lunch? The first 10 or first 20s? Hands up. It's okay, कुछ नहीं करूँगा. Just पूछ रहा हूँ बस. Okay. Answer me this beautiful question, okay? How many of you washed your hands before going to the lunch area? Can I believe you? Can I trust in you? All right, folks, you're going to be having one of the sessions with me as well. So that's why the question and answer is going on in this picture. How many of you didn't wash? Who did not wash? झूठ मत बोलो. Spoon का example लेते हुए. Okay, how many of you didn't wash? How many of you feeling like they washed and they didn't wash? They're still washing here. Yeah, I can see they're laughing at their own jokes. Anyways, yeah, how many of you had over? अपने capacity से बाहर. जो हंसे वही फंसे. Okay, how many of you had dessert? Wow, we truly sweet people of India. Yeah, what was there in the sweet counter? क्या बात है, इंडिया वाले साथ में जुड़ के बोलेंगे जय माता दी. Yes, ma'am, your name?
Pratiksha.
Okay, Pratiksha, what all items were there in the dessert counter?
Strawberry ice cream, rasmalai, and then brownie. That's it.
You had 1 kilos? No, just no, diet conscious. Well, guys, how many of you are actually following a good diet, which is healthy eating, not itna hi khana hai and all that? I can point at you now. So, what is your name? Okay, how much did you enjoy eating today? After a month. He was waiting for this program for a month, and he comes up with a point. I will. खत्म करके ही छोड़ेंगे. क्या बात, जोरदार तालियां होनी चाहिए for 1 month भूखे हुए. और आज भरपूर खाया. That's nice. Are you with your friends? All this, oh, wow. Your names, please? Bhavana? Bharat. Sir? Nitin. Okay. Hare Krishna. Ilyas. So guys, before we go further, I'm so happy that you had your best supper. Sorry, sir. We had our best supper. We did. We enjoyed the tasty food. Okay, don't doze off. Okay, it's mentally, we are prepared to that point that after having a heavy lunch, we should go doze off. It's like basically we are filling in energy by having a lunch, and that energy has to be utilized, not in sleeping, but to be in proactive mode. Well, guys, don't you believe so? We have to just change a little bit of mentality here, our mindset here. Because of the surroundings, we have always changed and evolved. Let's revolve around us first and evolve ourselves. Yes? So energy on, proactive mode on. चिल्लाने के लिए नहीं बताऊंगा, तालियां बजाने के लिए नहीं बताऊंगा, but again, I want your minds to be active and proactive. Okay, we'll do a small exercise before we continue further with the session, which is going to be conducted here. Yes, first and foremost, can you please speak out loudly your own name in your mind? How many of you did this? I love my hair today. Anyways, you did speak your name out loudly? Okay, what is your nickname? Say it loudly in your mind. If it brings a smile on your face, I'm sure it is a beautiful name. Hey, only who calls you? The loved ones and the dear ones, okay? Not the partners alone. Sir. Yeah, that's great. Okay, now, can we just look at each other and give it a nice smile? Give a nice smile, okay? Don't laugh. Okay, that's good. Shake hands, say thank you. नहीं होना चाहिए. Thank you आनी चाहिए. Okay, don't do with your eyes. या चेहरे से. Okay, I want you to be a little proactive. Okay, say thank you. To you all, thank you so much for listening to me out and loud. And yes. Concentrated ears are here, and eyes has to be also be here. So how do I look today? Noodles. I like fried rice. I'm sorry, sir, but again, it felt like you told noodles. Yeah, it is there, but along with it, how do I look today was in the agenda, not just the highlights. Yeah? energy. Thank you so much. And there's an amazing lady comes to me. Hi, thank you so much. Please stand up. And she did appreciate my energy, and she told, "How do you keep it up?" Right? So I just answered back as,
Yeah. He told that I keep my lifestyle active, well, watch what I eat healthy, be disciplined, not over disciplined, and things fall into place.
absolutely. Thank you so much, dear. Thank you so much. Please have a seat. And yes, it's very important. If you don't know what is wrong, would you be able to correct it? And which is false, will you be able to understand the truth? No, right? So similarly, we should go to the both side of the coin and see what's what, and not to be in middle, right? Yeah, balance, yeah, it is always created by knowing both the sides, yes? Yeah, that's the part of energy, but I love what I do, and I'm so happy that you all love what you do. सोच रहे हैं. It's okay, it's all right. We're going to get you some conclusions, okay? So guys, my name is Santosh Naik, and yes, I'm a soft skills trainer, and yes, passionately started something called as public speaking. It turns out to be that I'm the best at what I do. And yeah, what I love the most about me is me. First, you should start with you, and I think you all started with yourself, right? Yeah, we concentrate, focus on us first, and then we can go further in giving us helping hands to other. And yes, the actual agenda, I would love to say it loud and clear. To be proactive, you need to communicate, not just within you, but to others as well. So wherever I go, whatever I do, I always have this gesture of saying, hi, hello, you look beautiful. Yes, I do also point out at things like today, one of the person who's a vendor, he was talking to many people while eating. I just, because focus on food, because that's also important. Second thing, he's like, is somebody coming there? I just corrected him saying that, is this taken? So things like that. So always try to help, be a needy person, and also give it to the needies, you know. Just don't be needy, but also give it to the people who are in need of. And I think that works out good, and this was a close counter. This is not a speech or any kind of a gimmick I wanted to give it on, but I'm just exploring my ways of doing better and better and better. Yes? Fall down so that you know how to get back up, right? If you're down, do you be thinking of standing up? You'll have at least a thought, right? If you're standing, you really think of falling down? Answer. It's a little deep I go, okay? So, yeah? When we're standing up, do we think of falling down? Why don't we? Why don't we try the risk part of it? Why don't we try to manage all these things by also knowing what could occur to us, right? So please try both sides. I'm sure that keeps you proactive. If you're having problems and troubles, as Sadhguru says, you're having a proactive life. Yes? If you have troubles, then is where you understand, right? You're working towards proactivity. If you don't have troubles or problems, what do? Scrolling screen. Right? Okay, that's great. So guys, how many of you are on LinkedIn? That's nice. Okay, are you all well connected? Yes. Are you proactive every day? Like how you're on social media? Like Instagram or Snapchat? Yeah, or Facebook. Yeah, how many of you are on Instagram? Yeah, use it for professional, personal purposes. Everything personal. Yeah, there's also a place where it's a forum where we can also use it. I don't much use it, but I actually love to do this. Practically going to everybody and go ahead. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening by. And yeah, it was just our personal talks with you. I feel like you feel like me. And thank you so much. Post this session, we're going to be having mine. So we're going to have some real fun, okay? Yes, are you ready? Yeah, how's the energy? Okay, movie wala. How's the Josh? Come on, how is the Josh? Thank you so much. Keep up this energy. Let's be proactive, and we shall start off and also end off in time so that we all can get back to wherever we have to reach out to. Thank you so much. Smile once again. Look at each other and smile. You'll get a better smile. And also say thank you to each all. And yes, we shall continue further from here on. Can we have some music? And we shall start off in exactly 1 minute. right, ladies and gentlemen, a happy afternoon. Is it a happy afternoon or a good afternoon? Let's add the happiness to it. Since you all shared smiles and shared the thank you note to each other, congratulations to you all. You're already winners. And yes, your participation made it all happen. Let's make some noise for the amazing community, please. Everybody, please put your hands together. Make some noise. Make some noise. Once again, make some noise. Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. Here is my opportunity to welcome Mr. Girish Shenoy. Please, zordar taaliyon ke saath, let's welcome the moderator. Come on, everyone, put your hands together. Keep up the energy. Further from here on, we're gonna share across what we're gonna go through, and the moderators are gonna be doing it fantabulously for you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Girish Shenoy aap sabhi ke liye. Please, let's give a round of applause. We have Mr. Vishnu, the moderator, who's also going to join us on stage.
No, there's a session from Rovo from Atlassian.
Well, Vishnu sir is going to be joining us later on. For now, we have Mr. Girish. Please, zordar talia, one last time.
Yeah, because he just gave me that Chinese whisper to pass on. So I would like to now invite Kaustubh Vadon, all the way from Atlassian, to speak about Rovo. I think you guys remember me saying today afternoon we have an exciting session on Rovo and AI, how this can help you. And I'm very much waiting for him to come and speak. So please welcome Kaustubh on stage.
Hey, thanks everyone. Thanks Girish and Santosh for that lovely introduction. So a couple weeks back, our founders got on stage at Team 24 Europe in Barcelona, and they announced that Rovo, our latest AI product, is generally available. So we are live with GA on Rovo. One of the things I wanted to actually talk about on today's presentation is by prefacing what Atlassian does. Is this better? Yeah, okay. So one of the things I wanted to start with is by prefacing what Atlassian does. And over the last 20 years of our existence, the DNA of Atlassian has been to actually unleash the potential of every team. That's the DNA we still live by, and we aspire to continue to live with. Now, when we talk about teams, and again, this is something which MCB had talked about in Barcelona. When we talk about teams, the teams of the future are going to be a mix of humans, human teammates, and AI teammates. And I want to kind of dial back to the session that we had previously, where I believe it was Hari who did mention that AI is here to not replace your jobs, but it's definitely going to transform the way you do your jobs in a huge manner. And that's something which we truly believe in. And with that in mind, Atlassian has been investing a lot into AI. And as we talk more about AI, there's one theme which I have observed a lot of people within and outside of Atlassian have observed, is that Atlassian Intelligence and Rovo are used kind of interchangeably. Before I talk more about that, just by a show of hands, how many of you here have heard about Rovo before? Okay, so I see a few hands over here. And of those who have heard of Rovo, how many of you have actually used it? Have any of you been part of your early adopters? I see one hand. Right, so we have our job cut out for ourselves. So a few things. Atlassian Intelligence is a foundational experience layer of the platform, which is helping us power our cloud products. And Rovo is just one of those cloud products. So for instance, if you've been using Confluence or Jira, you might be looking at that summarize button on the top of Confluence page, or there might be features in Jira where you're able to actually say that make the description of this particular epic better, and so on and so forth. So those things are powered by AI, and that's something which we are calling as Atlassian intelligence. So Atlassian intelligence powers a lot of those things. It is available to folks who are on premium and enterprise licenses of Jira, Confluence, and those products. Speaking specifically about Rovo, that's a completely new product. We had announced that we are working on Rovo some 5 or 6 months back. There was a pilot program which was put together. There were a few early adopters which were trying Rovo out. And as I mentioned a couple weeks back, Rovo has been made generally available. If you hit www.rovo.com, you can actually go through the website and see what all features it has and how can your teams use it. I'm here today to specifically talk about the features of Rovo, right? So I'm not talking a lot about the tech stack, how we built it, and all of that, and that's something which obviously is interesting, but here I'm going to talk specifically about just the features that Rovo has. And if there is one thing which I would want all of you to take out of this session today, is just this one slide. If you forget about the rest, that's also fine. Just this one slide, right? So when you talk about Rovo, it has 3 foundational pillars it stands on: find, learn, and act. When you talk about find specifically, this is search. Now, everybody does search. Every product natively has search experiences which are integrated within it. Why is Rovo different? Rovo is able to do 2 things. One, it is able to contextualize a lot of the things for you in your organizational setup, right? That's very important. And secondly, when I say it is able to contextualize things within your org setup, it means that it is able to go across all of your Atlassian ecosystem as well as the third-party products that are not Atlassian, but you use, right? So we are able to do that, and that's something which we are calling as find. Another interesting thing, you can actually find all of those things within a single interface, right? So you're not going to have to switch to multiple different apps and you lose context and somebody pings you on Slack, something's happening on an email, you get a meeting invite. None of that distraction is there. You can work on find within a single interface. So that's one. Second is learn. There are a few capabilities which again help you to do that. You're able to contextualize things again without leaving that single interface. There are things which you stumble across when you hit a particular website or a Confluence page or a Google Doc or whatever literature that you're reading, or even Jira tickets or whatever systems that you work on. And sometimes you come across abbreviations, some new stuff. If you have joined newly as a new team member to a particular team, or if you've joined an org newly, then you just don't make sense of like what are these abbreviations. Things like that. Rovo helps you kind of speeden up the learning curve by some of the capabilities which I'm going to be demonstrating. And then third and the final thing is act. Now that you've found what you were looking for, now that you have gleaned in some insights, you now wish to actually act on it, and that's where the superpower of Rovo lies. So those are the 3 fundamental tenets or pillars on which Rovo stands, and whatever feature set that I'm going to be talking about is going to be specifically referencing those. Now, I've just compiled a small list. This isn't something which is like comprehensive. These are just some of the features which I'm going to be talking about. When we talk about find, obviously you can do search. Search can be done across all of Atlassian surfaces. Predominantly, obviously, in Jira Confluence, you'd be able to power your search results. I'm going to be showing how that works. In addition to that, there is a thing called Atlassian Home. Atlassian Home is a default on product. What I mean by that is if you have any single Atlassian product installed, then you would by default have Atlassian Home enabled. So you can actually do search in Atlassian Home as well. Regardless of where you do your search operations, your search will obviously and always point you to Atlassian Home. And the third thing which I'm really interested about, this is something which I live, which I use to make my life a lot more simpler while working, is the Chrome extension. So I'm going to be talking and demoing that as well. When we talk about Learn, I did briefly mention you're able to create context without having to leave your interface in which you're working on. It's helping you to kind of navigate your learning curve in a pretty easy manner. So towards that end, we have a couple of features. We have definitions and we have knowledge cards. I'll be talking a bit about that, but a brief on definitions and knowledge cards is if you come across those random terms which you're not able to make sense out of, just within the single pane, you'll be able to actually define what that term is, and it's going to pull in the information across all of your connected Atlassian products and non-Atlassian products to contextualize and tell you what it actually means. So that's definitions and knowledge cards. Rovo chat, self-explanatory. Follow-up questions, again, should be self-explanatory, but I'm going to be demoing that as well. And then bookmarks is a fun way for the orgs to actually orient a lot of people around what we call a single source of truth. And then the most exciting part is ACT. So we have agents. There are some agents which you get, which are made available like out of the box. There are close to 100 of them, maybe more, maybe less. I'm not exactly sure about the number, but there are quite a lot of agents that you get straight out of the box. In addition to that, you can also build your own custom agents. And these custom agents can be built all by yourself using no code whatsoever. I'm going to be demoing that. But if you also want to use some sort of code, if there are technical integrations which you want to enable and make Rovo work on, then I'll be talking about custom agents as well. So that's the feature set that we'll be going over in the next 20, 30 odd minutes, I believe. And I should be able to take questions after. All right, so starting with Find. Now, when we talk about Find, again, the reason why we started off with Find in Rovo is, according to a Gartner study, there's always a Gartner study. According to a Gartner study, close to half of the people who are working in a typical enterprise or an organizational setup, they struggle to just get to the right information most of the times. And for them to actually get to that right information, they have to navigate through at least 100, 200 odd applications. And they spend on an average about 4 hours a day just getting to that right information so that they can act on it. That's a lot of productivity loss. And with that in mind, Rovo Search was built. So with Rovo Search, and this is the first iteration, with Rovo Search, what we have gone live with so far is all of the Atlassian products that you can see on the screen. They are integrated as part of Rovo. So obviously you've got all of your Jiras and Confluence covered. But in addition to that, there are 7 connectors which we have integrated with. So if you see on the left-hand side of the diagram, you have your Microsoft ecosystem. So you have GitHub, you have Microsoft Teams, and SharePoint, which we have integrated with. And then we also have Figma. So if your product teams who work very closely with the designers and are trying to articulate what are the designs and like where does this particular box go, those kind of things, and you want to glean in those insights as well, then you have Figma, which we've integrated with. Slack, obviously, for pulling in all the messages similar to Microsoft Teams, and then Google Drive, similar to SharePoint. The 7th one is a custom bring your own data connector, which means that if you host your own website or if you have any knowledge base article, you can essentially upload those knowledge base articles and you can have that website which you own indexed so that you can actually search through that, right? So these are the 7 connectors which we are live with so far. We do have plans to actually scale this up to close to 100 odd connectors in the next few quarters, and maybe even more than 100 in the quarters after that. So that's something which we are actively working on, but we are really excited about Rovo Search because it powers not just your Atlassian search experience, but non-Atlassian search experience as well. I'm going to play a small clip here, and hopefully I'm able to pause it at the right time. Yeah, so this is your typical if you've been using Confluence, this would be like a Confluence page that you would work on. And when you talk about the search experience, one of the things that you would notice is that there is no change to how you use your Confluence search today. You have the search bar, which is on the top right, and whatever search term that you put in, it actually searches for that. So for the purposes of this demo, the org that we have is Vitafleet. It's a made-up org that we've created for demo purposes, and the context is Vitafleet has acquired another company called Midlogics, and I'm an employee. I'm trying to search for all things and documents which are related to Midlogics. So as I enter Midlogics, notice that after entering the first two terms, it auto-populates some of the possible results. So this is our quick find. You can actually find out if there are some documents which are relevant, which you can find out without having to actually go to full page search and then having to sift through multiple results. So the relevancy and accuracy of these things keep getting improving as there is more documentation which is added to it. But if you don't find this within the quick find, then you press the enter key, and you are taken to what is the full page search. So within full page search, you get multiple documents, and one of the things which I would highlight is that if you see the top of the search result is actually a Google Drive. So it's not like we have bias saying that always show the Atlassian search results first. We have a ranker which is going to interleave the search results and is going to say whichever search result is more accurate across all of the data set, regardless of whether it is Atlassian product or a non-Atlassian product, that ranking has to be higher. So in this case, Google Drive has the products which are on the top. If you scroll further down, you have a full set of results, and you'd also see there may be some results which are coming from SharePoint, and there may be a few which would be coming from Slack. So essentially, wherever this information is, you'd be able to see that. Oops, sorry. Another thing, within the search, we have the filter capabilities. So obviously, you can search on the basis of what was last updated. And more importantly, if you notice this screen, you are also able to search by the type of documents that you're looking for. We may be used to this in some tools or the other, but within Atlassian, what you can do is you can say that I'm looking for file types which are only documents. So it's going to give you results which are coming from Google Drive or Confluence pages or SharePoint doc files. If you say that I just want to look at results which are messages, then it's going to give you results which are coming out of Slack or Teams or whatever messaging tool has been integrated with your search. Right? So you're able to do that. So in this case, I have filtered for not sure what exactly, I'm not able to see, but probably messages, and you're able to look at some of the messages that you're able to go through. So that's just one key feature. You have search with filters enabled. That was in Confluence. Obviously, it also works in Jira. It works the exact same way. And then for those of you who have worked or not worked on Atlassian Home, this is what Atlassian Home actually looks like. So you go to start.atlassian.com or home.atlassian.com, and on the left-hand side, you would see your projects, your goals, all the stuff that you typically keep track of. If you have an OKR framework that you follow within your company, then you would define your objectives and create goals, and basically how your initiatives ladder to each of these goals and the objectives would be stored over here. Within Atlassian Home, you again have the same search bar. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but essentially you kind of replicate the same search result. You search for Midlogics, and it pops out the same searches that we saw earlier. Right, so that's another surface on Atlassian Home where you're able to power your search results. Moving on. Chrome extension is something which I'm really excited about, and like I did mention, this has made at least my life a lot more easier. If you have signed on to Rovo, if you use Rovo, I highly encourage you to install the Chrome extension, go to the Chrome Web Store and download the Rovo extension Rovo extension on the Chrome browser. And what it essentially does is it gives you a page, something like this, every time you open a new tab on Google Chrome. So when you open a new tab, you would see there is a search bar, of course, powering all of your search results. And then there are a few bookmarks which you can navigate through. These could be the bookmarks that are your favorites. These could be the bookmarks that you have been visiting quite often. These could be the bookmarks that you have specifically maintained because you want it in that way. More importantly, there are a few other interesting things which you would see on the bottom over here. So things like, I'm a lazy person, I just want to figure out what are the Jira tickets which are assigned to me without having to actually go to the Jira project, and I'll have Rovo do that for me. Or what are the Confluence pages I have been tagged on where people are asking me for my input so that I can actually respond to that and get those decisions closed. Or I want to maybe just create a marketing campaign, and for that I want to start off some sort of a blog, and how can I help myself get with that blog like really quickly. Those are all things which can be automated, which are available out of the box, and you can actually do that using the Rovo Chrome extension. This is where it's showing about, like, you can configure the links that you have, and then you have the features where you can essentially have Rovo do a lot of the things for you at the click of a button, as opposed to actually navigating through to multiple different places, right? So that's quickly Chrome extension. What it also does is, this is interesting. So within Chrome, when you open any website or anything that you're viewing within Chrome, you will also be able to define or search with Rovo some of the content which is present in that page. So for the purposes of demo, here we have opened up a Wikipedia website, not Atlassian at all. Not hosted on Atlassian.com. This is about Atlassian, and I, for whatever reason, don't understand what the word mythological means, right? I click on it, and sorry, the right click isn't showing up, but when you right click on it, it basically gives you three options. It says you can search with Rovo, you can define with Rovo, and there's one more which is on the similar lines. So here I would have said define with Rovo what this actually means. And sure enough, what Rovo is going to do is it is going to look at all of the documents and all of the content which has been indexed across your Atlassian ecosystem as well as your third-party ecosystem to spit out some sort of a result. Now in this case, notice, because this is a term which you wouldn't typically find in a corporate setup, right? You wouldn't find mythological sitting somewhere in any of your office documents. So it would say, hey, I could not find this definition, but I know that this is what it could possibly mean. But what happens is, in case if there are some terms like Gen AI, for example, everyone's using that, and you're browsing through some website which has some terms related to Gen AI that you have not come across before, you can use this feature to just quickly figure out what it actually means. And more importantly, if you have those terms being used within your ecosystem, within your company, you can actually say search with Rovo, and it's going to point you to all the documents which have those terms defined, right? So that's quickly about Rovo Chrome extension. Some more animations. I think this also does the same, so I'm going to skip over that. So we've covered the find pillar of Rovo. Now, within find pillar of Rovo, there are a couple of things in my mind which makes it pretty unique. So first is unified knowledge retrieval. So like I've mentioned before, we are able to consolidate info from multiple sources, right? So all of Atlassian plus some of the non-Atlassian products, and that ecosystem is just growing. And all of that can be done using a single interface. The beauty about that is, obviously, it helps avoid any context switches, and the speed at which you get to the right information is like insanely fast. Second, cross-team collaboration also improves because of that. I have been part of companies before Atlassian where there had been informational silos, not by design, but it's just because we grew that much faster, and you just couldn't figure out, like, how do you contain information as people kind of keep coming in and going out. With Rovo, what happens is, depending on the permission settings that you have for whatever documents that have been indexed, you can actually make all of those documents searchable so that you improve the cross-team collaboration that you have. And the information silos, which have a habit of like springing upon us, they don't come at us in a surprise. And while these are the horizontal capabilities which I'm talking about, where it really helps the organization is what you see on the right-hand side of the screen, right? So one is decision-making for execs. If you're an exec who has to go through like 15 different team meetings and 10 different decks and talk to 5 different people to actually figure out what the heck's happening, you can use Rovo literally at your fingertips and find out what info is being talked about and whether the decision that you need to make is the right one or not. And by the way, this keeps getting updated. What I mean by that is if at all there are latest or new set of documents which you are introducing, then they get indexed in flight so that execs are able to access information which is near real time. Some other applications include legal and contract management. If you have to go through like multiple different clauses, citations, and all the documentation which has been provided to just go through the contract and figure out whether we are dotting the I's and crossing the T's or not, all of that can be made much more easier, because as opposed to you having to physically go and find out information from these places, you can just ask questions and get that done. Same goes for marketing. If you're running any campaign management, then you want to analyze the history of the past campaigns, how they had performed. You want to look at some of your open existing leads and opportunities and figure out how can we actually marry those two so that I'm curating content which is best directed to warrant a response from the intended audience. Same goes for R&D insights, going across multiple different papers, all the study that you have to do for patent by looking across multiple sources. I think in the previous session, somebody brought up the point of regulatory compliance and audits as well. So it definitely helps in kind of speeding up and just understanding whether whatever has been submitted as a proof of delivery is actually proof of delivery or not. Right, so some of those things is where we are seeing Rovo being experimented and used. Me being a technical program manager in project management, product management, I definitely use Rovo quite a bit to kind of power my search results. So that's about find. I'll quickly jump over to learn. I did mention there are a few features that you can use which help you kind of drive the in-context learning much more easier. So this one specifically is definitions. I go back to the screen and I do the exact same thing which I did before. I am searching for a document. In this case, instead of document, what I did is I searched for a term. I joined a team recently, and everyone was using the word or using the abbreviation DMP. I do not know what it really means. So instead of feeling embarrassed and like asking like 15 different people because I'm an introvert, I would just go to Rovo and say, hey, slyly put what is DMP, and it spits out this particular result. Along with this result, it also gives me the source for where DMP comes from, and I'm interested in finding out more, so I click on that link. I get to a page. Now notice when I get to a page, there are a few things on this page, like if you notice the words B2B over here, B2B has a colored underline below it, and this colored underline is an intuitive thing. If you click on it, it actually defines what B2B means, right? And it will do it for all of the new terms which this particular user, in this case me, I have not been across, right? And I can do it for all of the other terms as well. What's even better is if you are someone who is creating this kind of a document, then you can go ahead and define on your own what are some of these terms so that it becomes much more easier for people to grasp, and you also don't have to respond to like 15 messages all asking the same question, hey, what does this abbreviation mean necessarily, right? So this is one of the features within the Learn buckets. We have chat. Again, chat people are obviously, I use quite a bit. If you notice on the top right hand side, there was a RoboChat icon. I clicked on that, and there is a pane which comes in from the right hand side, which has all of my chat history. And what I can do is, oops, sorry. And what I can do is actually ask it simple questions, which is going to give me contextual responses. Now, in this case, whatever questions I ask, they are also going to give me a few follow-up questions. I believe the question here is, what is Project Nimbus? Tell me more about it. And it's going to spit out a few details about Project Nimbus. And also notice that there are a few follow-up questions which Rovo thinks might be relevant, and therefore it is giving me those questions as well. Now, notice this real estate is a little clustered over here, and I'm not really happy about that. So there is an expand icon. I can actually click on that expand icon, and it can take me to a full page search. So that should be, yeah, this is the full page search. If I click on the expand icon, that's where it takes me. So that's quickly about just a simple search capabilities. But where it really helps, and this is something which we do use internally within Atlassian, is for onboarding new people. When you're onboarding new people, they have to go through a training program, learn through multiple different, there are training sessions which are there are live sessions, they need access to different tools, and we have tried to kind of automate a lot of that. So in this example, let's say I am a new product manager, and my manager has come up with an onboarding plan for me, right? So as part of that onboarding plan, I know what am I going to be doing on exactly day 1, day 2, week 1, week 2, and so on and so forth. And I'm going through that. As I go through that plan, I see that there is something which is called Initiative Raspberry. I don't know what Initiative Raspberry means. So again, what I do is help Rovo to kind of define what Initiative Raspberry means, and it helps me define what it is. And I want to understand a lot more about that initiative. So what I do is I ask more questions. So if you see follow-up questions, one of the questions is, what are the project milestones, so that I know I'm working on the right set of things. And it opens up a chat window, which suggests me all the milestones which are currently in progress for Initiative Raspberry. As I go through those milestones, I have more questions. One of those questions is, if I'm going to be working on that particular project, then can I have access to that, right? And so I ask that question, do I have access to Project Raspberry? Again, I do all of that sitting in the same interface without having to open multiple windows and say, I either have access or I don't. In this case, it is suggesting me to actually create a Jira ticket and create access. Creating a Jira ticket. Wow, I need to create another Jira now. Actually, no. So I will just tell RoboChat, can you please create a Jira ticket for me, saying that I need access to Initiative Raspberry, and say that I have joined the team newly. And using RoboChat, you would be able to get that Jira ticket created as well. So it'll spit out a result, and it's going to say that there is a Jira ticket which already exists or has been newly created. And if I go to that particular Jira ticket, I can see that it is an AI-generated ticket which already exists. It has the right set of people who it has assigned it to. It knows who's the reporter, and all of that was done just by navigating RoboChat, nothing else. Right, so this is kind of like an end-to-end example. There are more of these. Knowledge cards is going to be similar to definitions, but this is something which is slightly different in the sense that, let me carry with the previous example where, let's say I was doing onboarding, and somebody gave me this name, Ashley Lopez. And I don't know who Ashley Lopez is, so what I do is I just put in the name. Who is Ashley Lopez? Actually, I don't even say who is, I just say Ashley Lopez. And what Rovo does is it gives me this card. This card tells me what is it that Ashley Lopez has been working on recently, and who are the top collaborators Ashley has been working with, right? So I can actually go through the documents which she's working on. I can look at who the collaborators are, and I know more about what Ashley has been working on currently, right? So all of these are knowledge cards, and an extension of knowledge cards is what we call as bookmarks. Again, all of these features are part of the Learn set. So bookmarks is something which is especially helpful if you have like an intranet page. All companies have something similar to an intranet page, and you'd want to define a single source of truth. So just to give an example, maybe a few days back, Bangalore, there was a orange alert, red alert, whatever was declared. And a lot of questions would do the rounds saying, hey, do we have a leave or are we working from home? Those kind of things. And if you are one of those people who want to kind of orient people to a single source of truth, saying we have this, holiday or not, then you can do so by just pinning some of the search results on the top, saying that this has been bookmarked by your org admin or company admin. It can be used in multiple places. It's essentially a bookmark. So in this example, I'm showing how a bookmark can be created. This is an org admin who has access to the admin console, and they're able to define how do you create a bookmark, right? So you put in the description, you also define some of the terms which are typically used, like vacation policy in this example, or in our case, we would say October, 21st, 22nd, orange alert, red alert. I can just put in those specific search terms. And when I do that, anytime anyone comes over to search asking for those vacation policies, what they are going to see is something similar to this. So you're going to have a bookmark which is going to say, this is our vacation policy, don't believe otherwise. If people are talking about what is and what is not true, this is the single source of truth which you can work with. So those were some of the features that I was talking about, which were just specific to Learn. This is a busy slide, but I do want to call it out that all of our search results are heavily contextualized, because underneath the search platform, we use what we internally call as Teamwork Graph. Teamwork Graph is a sophisticated data model and a platform using which we are able to articulate everything as it connects to each other in order to drive that context, right? So it's not like I am powering my search within just one single app or within one single ecosystem. As you would see, if you are an engineer who is working on a specific sprint and you have submitted your pull request, it's actually going to look at what is the customer who is going to get impacted by that, what are the goals towards which this particular project is laddering up to, and if at all this is related to any marketing campaigns that are being driven, and what are the knowledge base articles which are connected to it. So basis that, if you're able to, or if you want to search for something which is just related to that pull request, it's able to give you all of that information. So that is powered using Teamwork Graph. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because there would be questions about, some of these capabilities are done by pretty much any and all of chatbots. How is RoboChat different, right? And with Teamwork Graph, I want to emphasize again that you get very contextualized result. If this was any other chatbot, and let's imagine a scenario where you had stepped away for a couple of weeks, went away on a vacation, came back and said, hey, I'd been away for 2 weeks, what happened? And the response which you would get would be slightly more generic, depending on which tool you use, which would be on the lines of, there was a sprint which got finished, there was an epic which was finished, and then your team was able to close like a few bugs. With Rovo, you'd get a lot of context behind what happened. In this case, and again, this is a made-up example, but it says your product team decided to exclude one of the personas from one of the milestones, and it also changed the ship date. It completed research, which found out that one of the features is going to be the strongest value proposition. So there's a lot of context, and all of that can happen only because of Teamwork Graph. And as we add more sources to our ecosystem, this is only going to become much more stronger. So that was about learn. And finally, the exciting piece, which is about act. So once you have found the right information, you have used the tools available at your disposal to learn whatever you were going through. You want to actually act on that information, right? And for that, there are a lot of these agents which are available out of the box. We'll go to the previous example again. Ashley will be able to run translation to do that. There is actually another example which I wanted to show you. Let me see if I can get that. Yeah, this one. So this is something which I guess a lot of you might be able to relate to. If you are working on Jira and you are plagued by, or you're looking at like multiple Jira tickets, you want to look at your Jira dashboard and say that, you know what, I'm interested in the latest 20, 25, 30 odd Jira requests which have been created. I want to figure out what is the theme across those 20, 30 Jiras which were created, and I want to work on whatever those themes are, right? And so obviously there's an agent for that. So what I do here is I go to chat and I select browse agents, and here I have a Jira theme analyzer as an agent. So I select that, and once I have that Jira theme analyzer selected, you would notice that the chat icon has changed to Jira theme analyzer, and I ask the agent, can you reference the latest 20 odd Jira tickets which were created, and can you also tell me what is the theme across those tickets, right? So the agent would do its thing, it would analyze, and it's going to give out some of these themes, right? So I have themes which are across UX, performance issues, data visualizations, security features, so on and so forth. Now, once you have these created, what more you can do with this is you can say that I want to actually create a Confluence page using which I will be able to analyze these themes, and I'm able to assign it to the right people so that they can have more deeper dives on these Jira issues. So you'd be able to do all of that just by using the agents which are available out of the box. And finally, I do have the feature where you're able to create an agent all by yourself, right? So in this case, again, I go to RoboChat, and instead of browse agents, I click on create agents. And for creating an agent also, if you would notice, you can use AI to create that agent. But if you are old school like me, maybe, or maybe not, you would skip to the manual steps. And this is the powerhouse of how we actually help create a Jira agent. So when you skip to the manual steps, it helps you identify what the description is going to be, what that Jira agent is going to do, and it's also going to give you a prompt as to what are some of the generative questions, what are some of the questions that you would want to prompt a user when they're actually interacting with that agent. And more importantly, you can also define the sources. You don't want your agent to fish out information from pretty much everywhere within the company. It's just going to make it slow, and a lot of irrelevant data would also start flowing in the search results. So what you want to do is you want to have control over what information is being sought when you're populating the results. So to be more specific, think of it like if you're trying to do something on the customer support side where you only want to reference the support article base, then you don't want all of the company's Confluence pages or Confluence spaces to be indexed. You'd only want pages which are relevant to support being indexed. Same goes for Jiras. So you can say that our company may work on hundreds of Jira projects, but we are only interested in indexing probably 10 or 15 of those for the purposes of this index. And then there are going to be other third-party tools, non-Atlassian tools, which you can also select. So you can have, say, Google Drive, SharePoint, whatever else where you are actually fishing for information from. For that agent, you can enable that, and you can say that this is where the info is going to be sought. Now for actions, here it says Jira and Confluence predominantly because this is what's available out of the box. So you can do things with your Jira tickets, or you can say that I can have Confluence page created, or I can have a comment added, and so on and so forth. But if you are using Forge, our developer platform, then you'd be able to do other things as well. One of the agents which was demoed recently was an agent called Customer 360 that was done by Anu. What it does is it analyzes your Salesforce leads, and it tells you whether all of the leads which are qualified are moving through fast or not. If you have some renewals which are coming up, then what is the size of that renewal opportunity? It also recommends what are some of the cross-sell and upsell options that you have. So this was an agent which was created in a custom manner using the Forge developer platform, but there are quite a few of those. I was talking about the first one there, Customer 360. But if you go to Marketplace, there are quite a few agents which already exist, which you can purchase. In addition to that, if you want to create your own agents, you can do so yourself, or you can work with our solution partners to kind of define those custom agents. Coming back to the what and where for both Learn and Act, similar to what we did for Find. A couple of things which agents are able to do pretty effectively. One is it's able to automate a lot of these tasks, which are a productivity sucker. So if you are plagued by, hey, I just don't want to put meetings on people's calendars, or if I just want to have my agents create Jira issues, Confluence pages, things which are kind of done repeatedly, they have high volume, but are commonly asked and commonly done. You're able to automate a lot of that, and then you're also able to get insights which are much more enhanced because of the context. Some applications, again, I think it will be kind of redundant for me to talk about customer support and service automation given the session we had prior to this one. Some simple things like internal IT and help desks, like if you're part of the HR team, and if you keep getting requests saying, hey, I need a reference letter which says that I still work at this particular company, things like that can be just delegated to agents. Sales need lead nurturing, I talked about that. Productivity, task management, product training, onboarding, gave you some of those examples, right? So those are like the key features which are there within Rovo. So we spoke of Find, Learn, and Act. One key thing which I would be remiss to not talk about is obviously trust and security. So Rovo is going to be ISO 27001 and SOC 2 compliant by the end of this year. And we are also investing in data residency, so that's going to happen in a couple of quarters. So we would have that. And more importantly, as you work through with our search and chat and agents, a few things to keep in mind. One, Atlassian doesn't let any of the third parties train on your data. So we've absolutely made sure of that. And second, using roles and permissions, we ensure that there isn't anything that you're looking at which you shouldn't be looking at, right? So that's obviously table stakes. And then third, your data and whatever interactions that you have with Rovo, they pretty much remain your own. Right? So nobody else has access to what conversation you've had with Rovo chats and agents. That in a nutshell is just some of the features that I was here to talk about. To find out more about Rovo, I would highly encourage you to check out rovo.com. Thanks all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I would like to present you a small token of appreciation from Mr. Nagaraj. Sir, to please come forward and present a small token of appreciation from the community Bengaluru. Please give it a round of applause, everybody. Atlassian Community Connect, the community Bengaluru's meetup, presenting a token of appreciation to Mr. Kaustubh. Thank you, sir.
Hey, just wanted to mention one thing. If there are any questions, I'd be available over here. Maybe let's just take it over here.